Right now, I'm definitely a morning person, but I never used to be.
Some of the nighttime people that I know, for them, that's where they recharge.
I think that we were designed to be up during the day and sleep during the night.
A change of perspective on getting up early and implementing some things you want to implement. So yeah, introverts and extroverts, and morning people or night owls. These are frameworks of differentiating people. So with introverts, the suggestion is that they get energy by being in their own company, and extroverts get energy by being with other people. So they're both recharging, but in different ways. They've got different outlets. One's US power, one's UK power, or whatever. Night owls and morning people. I'm proposing the suggestion that maybe there's a difference in how they charge as well. Maybe it means different things to them. Of the two, so we're talking about morning routines. So I know I'm a morning person, and I've always been a morning person. Even when I was young, I was a morning person. There can be a party going on, but I would be asleep by 12 o'clock. And I'd be up early in the morning and everybody else would be asleep, and it would it would just really annoy me because I'd be sitting there for hours waiting for everybody else to wake up. My day goes much better when I have a successful morning. Which are you, Mariusz?
Right now, I'm definitely a morning person, but I never used to be. Which is, quite surprising. We've been talking about fixed mindsets and fixed personalities, and I think my personality shifted completely 180 degrees because I was one of these people that was partying until 6 o'clock in the morning and then sleeping until midday. And over the years, everything changed. I think that once I started learning more about health and about fitness, that's when I started seeing benefits of waking up in the morning. So I've turned into this morning person. I used to be a night owl. And now, experiencing both of these worlds, I can definitely tell that being a morning person is way more rewarding.
And I would say, if ever I've ever met a morning person, you're definitely a morning person. I mean, you're like Mr. Morning Vader. You go to bed at 8 o'clock, like, despite the fact that probably really annoys some people you might be socialising with, but it's like, yeah, what I see in you, and it's inspiring, is you value your morning so much. It's like some of the nighttime people that I know, for them, that's where they recharge, is at nighttime, and they speak with people and do things, and they study and whatever. Whereas you cherish that time in the morning, it seems like, and it's like that's Mariusz time.
Yeah.
And that's quite inspiring as a model. And I guess I've done it at times in my life, and the times I have done that in my life is when my life goes the best. So is it the right model for everybody? Like, I don't know, but all I can say is, like, all I can speak for is myself, and I find my life goes so much better when I have good mornings, when I start the day with success.
I think it depends on many factors, but the society that we live in, it kind of forces us and rewards us for being morning people. Because as you know, all of the businesses and the normal life starts roughly 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a night person, and if that's the time when you recharge the best, what that will mean for you, that in the morning you're not going to be productive at all. So you've got two options. Either be really creative and find yourself a job that will suit your life, or as most people, you're going to have to suck it in and either go to sleep earlier or don't and then wake up and walk around shattered. That way you're going to be shortening your lifespan and you're going to be miserable. You're not going to have energy to be positive. And it is strange that, for these night people, usually at night they feel the best. And then they'll go to sleep at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then they're forced to wake up really, really early, like 9 o'clock, because they have to go to work. I'm exaggerating 9 o'clock. Very often it's 7 o'clock. So that means they've only had 4 hours of sleep. And when you when you live on 4 hours of sleep, you can't be productive, you can't be happy, you can't be cognitively optimized. So that's where the problem lies. And surprisingly, you would imagine, the common sense would tell you, if you're only going to have 4 hours of sleep, that means that you're not only going to be really miserable in the morning, but in the evening you're going to be so tired that you'll go to sleep. But for some reason, I'm finding that these people who are night owls, they've got this thing in them that, roughly 7, 8 o'clock, even if they only have 3, 4 hours of sleep, that's when they feel the most awake. And they're, regardless of the fact that the night before they haven't slept or they slept only a couple of hours, they're still pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Initially, I didn't want to bring it up, but earlier on in our conversation this morning, you didn't like that. You didn't believe that there was such a thing as a night owl.
I believe that we're all morning people. I believe that, the society that we live in and the lifestyle that's available to us with all artificial lights and, being able to access information 24 hours a day, it changed the dynamic of how we live. But I think that just like any other animal, other than, nocturnal animals like cats, we were not designed to stay up at night. I think that we were designed to be up during the day and sleep during the night. And I think that our ancestors, that's the way they lived. If you think about it, if you take away all the technology, if you take away books and everything else, if it gets dark, if you take away the light, what else is there to do? You can think.
You can.
But how long can you think before you actually go to sleep? You won't be staying up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I think that ultimately, in the long run, being a night owl will have a detrimental impact on your health unless your lifestyle allow you to wake up at midday every single day. That's fair enough. But I still don't think it's a good thing for us to stay up at night because we are, at least, based on my own experience, the most productive during the day hours, when it's sunny, when we can, see each other, we can interact with each other, rather than, in the darkness of our rooms, laptops and etc. So the recharging batteries. So for me, unlike for many people, for me, conversation with someone that I really enjoy the company of, is that's the best way for me to recharge my batteries. Throughout the day, I've got a very demanding job when it comes to intellectually demanding, and combined with all the other bits and bobs that I have to do throughout the day, roughly 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm completely drained. I don't really have any desire to do anything more productive. I'm not creative anymore because all the creativity is sucked out of me. So this is a part of the reason why I have to be a morning person. But I think that the more important than that is to find the right time for you to do these productive things, to do the creative things, to do your actual work. Because when I wake up in the morning, for me, reading, studying, exercising, these are the most important things in my life. And even the creative bit, what we're doing now with recording, I'm finding that, preparing stuff in the morning is so much more productive is because I'm still creative in the morning. There's no distractions. And these things combine together with healthy eating and being rested, going to sleep early. Many people look at it as a sacrifice, but I feel that this is a necessity. And when I go to sleep, I'm actually showing the love towards myself because I know if I'm not going to go to sleep this early in the evening, I'm going to wake up shattered. And if I'm up shattered, I'm not going to be productive. I'm not going to be creative because all these things demand of you to be absolutely rested. And I think, especially when it comes to sleep and morning routine, it is crucial, absolutely crucial, to do the same routine every single day, 365 days a year. Every now and again, there can be a good reason for you not to adhere to that routine. But for 95% of the cases, in my opinion, based on my own experience, you have to stick to that to gain the full benefit.
Yeah, and what are those benefits? I mean, I think maybe the stability that provides, the consistency of that. It gives a real grounded, concrete, solid foundation for your day, but for your life generally as well. I find if I succeed in doing those things in the morning, if I'm up at a decent time and I get some things accomplished, and also a bit of me time, like you say, a bit of time to spend doing something that I enjoy doing, music or an audiobook. Can even be done while I'm doing some sort of task, and I get double benefit because I'm getting a task done and I'm also getting a bit of me time as well. So yeah, for me that's an ingredient for a good day, and I see it. It's such a difference it makes in my day, and the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of satisfaction, the feeling that I'm living life well.
You know why?
Tell me.
Because you're cognitively optimized. And that's why I follow all these morning routines, for my cognitive optimization. Yes, the big part of it's also about your physical health. But I think that ultimately it comes down to how we think in ourselves, and about the world. So if you commit to wake up at a certain time in the morning, and if you'll have a really decent routine that's designed to promote the best possible version of yourself, the better you're going to feel about yourself, the happier you're going to be. It's like, as I said before, I don't look at, going to sleep early and about all these disciplines as any form of sacrifice. I look at it as a way towards sustained happiness. Because every time I commit to something and I fulfill the commitments, that makes me feel better about myself, and that enforces that happiness cycle. So I think that it's really difficult for anyone to understand what we're talking about unless they ever tried it. And I bet that many people had the periods in their lives when they had quite a good structured morning routine, and I'm not sure if all of them experience what we experience, but I think that, generally speaking, most people would find it extremely beneficial to have this structure and to have that routine and to allow our circadian rhythm to do its thing. Because when you wake up in the morning, if you get to the point that, let's say I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and I get into the mindset of being the most creative 5:30 in the morning, you get to the point that you can actually utilize this. If you have some creative tasks to do, you know that this is the best time for you. So that's when you want to cram in all these, tasks that would require of you to have that maximal optimization. So for a while now, I've been trying to create videos, after work. But as I said earlier, when I come home after 6 o'clock, all the desire to be creative and to do, having all that energy, the energy that I have right now, it's all gone. It's all gone, wasted, because, I've wasted it on my morning, I've wasted it on my work. Not necessarily wasted, I've used it. And the only way that I can recharge at that point is through either entertaining myself, by either having a conversation with you, or by listening to music, or trying to learn a new productive things related to video and audio production right now, because that's my current goal. And I think that passive learning is the only way I can learn after 6 p.m. So what I mean by passive learning, I can switch on the YouTube, some educational channel, and I can listen. But, I can't really create at that point anymore, because I don't find this to be, first of all, productive, and second of all, useful. What, in your opinion, would be a good thing for someone who's considering right now starting a morning routine?
Well, I think the beginning is a change of mindset. So rather than, I'm going to force myself to get up in the morning, it's like, I'm going to spoil myself this morning by giving myself time to do and achieve some things that fuel me and recharge my batteries. Yeah, and it's interesting how sometimes there's a dynamic in life where it's the less time you have, the more you get done within that time. So when you're working flat out and you're getting maybe you're working for a company, it's like you've got a 15-minute break and you cannot take a minute over that break. I'm thinking of a particular instance. I'm working in a call centre, so you're timed. Somebody's looking at the watch if you're going to be over. So you extract the maximum you can with that break. It's like, that's my time. So I had a whole routine where I could go and I would do 100 push-ups within that 15 minutes. And there was a walk I could do that took just 15 minutes if I walked pretty briskly. So it's like, that was my time. And I was so productive at that time. I got so much done. And I guess that's the potential for your morning, which has the potential to completely change your day and your life. So yeah, I think that's the beginning point. Might be a change of perspective on getting up early and implementing some things you want to implement.
And understanding that your morning routine starts the night before. Mm-hmm. So unless you decide the night before you're going to go to sleep earlier tonight because you want to be a little bit more productive tomorrow, you won't see the results. The other thing that's really important, because people will try 1-2 times, going to say it's useless. I'm no use. Waking up in the morning. It takes time. It takes time to hone that new habit. And for me, 2-3 weeks is not enough. It's not enough. Very often, people who are trying to introduce a new routine of that kind into their life, they're finding that even though I'm going to sleep at 9 o'clock at night, I still wake up 6 o'clock with an alarm clock and I'm tired. And yes, maybe this is an indication that your body was so sleep deprived for so many years that you need maybe month, maybe even couple of months to gain that recovery and to go back to the proper way of being rested. And I'm not saying that I'm absolutely certain of that. This is what I'm thinking, this is what I feel, because even right now, I'm trying to go back to the better sleep pattern because I've been all over the place for over last 5 months because of the pandemic and everything. But I've realized lately that I'm the most productive if I wake up 5 o'clock. If it's any later than 5 o'clock, I'm not happy with myself. But the only way I can wake up 5 o'clock and be still productive is by going to sleep at 8:30. And it's not easy to shift that mindset because for many people, like we've discussed before, this evening time is the only time where they can actually recharge their batteries because, that's the moment when the kids are finally going to bed. That's the moment they can wind down. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. I think that rather than using this evening time, at that point, you're completely tired because you already had all day behind you. You'd rather go to sleep then and be prepared for this morning, the best morning of your life. And try to be really specific about what you're going to do in the morning because many people say, what am I going to do if I'm going to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning? Am I going to be sitting there? There's just nothing to do. But I think this is a wrong way of thinking. When you wake up in the morning, you have to have a plan. So like for me, when I wake up in the morning, I have a plan. First thing I do, I go to do my dishes. I don't know why, I love to do my dishes. And while doing my dishes, I'm going to put the headphones on. I'm going to listen to some positive messages, some positive podcasts, something to help me to put me in a really positive frame of mind. After that, I'm going to have at least half an hour of reading books to optimize my cognitive performance. After that, I'm going to have my workout because workout is so important. And then again, people will say, but I don't work out. What am I going to do? I think that if you really want to start living a better and healthier life and you want to be more happy with yourself, you have to start exercising and you have to start somewhere, even if it's just walking for half an hour in the morning in the cold as it is right now. And that alone will give you such a boost, such motivation to do other tasks, throughout the day that it's amazing. You probably experienced the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm beginning to. So one of the things in your morning is you've got this extreme exercise, which you do for half an hour.
Yeah,
about
roughly.
half an hour.
20 minutes to half an hour.
So that's something I'm going to try and implement in my day. So yeah, I think I'm inspired by the way you do that. I've done a lot of intense exercise in the past. The problem as it's been is sometimes it's like too much of something isn't so good. So there was a slightly addictive quality to it. The way it made me feel, I don't know how to explain. It's like when I start doing exercise, it's like it flicks a switch in my head, and I become a different person, almost like the Incredible Hulk. Like you flick that switch, and the guy becomes the Incredible Hulk. Like obviously, physically, I don't suddenly turn green.
No, of course, but I think we understand
It'd be great if I did,
about.
But yeah, no, I just get obsessed. And I'm always looking for exercise, and I'm like, spare moment, I'll do some push-ups. It's like it flicks that and become that different person. Like there's a usefulness in that, but it's too much, and it damaged my body because I was playing football 4 times a week, boxing 3 times a week, doing any sports I could get my hands on. I was in the swim baths all the time. It was like, and I loved it. I loved the way it made me feel, the endorphins, all the rest of it. But there was a price I paid in my body. It wasn't healthy.
But now you realize that. Now you know. So at this
Moderation.
point, if you're gonna start exercising, even though this frame of mind is gonna return, but what you can do, you can actually gain better results by being tactical about it, by knowing the facts, by knowing your body. You know what's too much. So, and I know that very often I'm tempted to do extra workout as well, but I know how beneficial it is for my body to actually have rest. And I'm not only talking about fat management, but I'm also talking about level of energy, because what you're saying is that although on one hand physically you're getting stronger, you're becoming fitter, but I don't think it is that healthy, because as you said, what happens is that you're gonna start sustaining these injuries, and they can't be good for us long term. And ultimately, even though you don't feel it initially, it takes a toll on your physical body. And more rested you are, I think that better performance you can pull out of yourself. So that's why my workouts are never longer than 20 minutes to half an hour. What I do, I focus intensely on that 20 minutes to half an hour, because I know that I'm not going to be exercising at all any other time throughout the day. So rather than leaving anything in the tank, I'm just giving everything I have, for that short duration. And after that, it's endorphin rush is one thing, but then you feel so much better about yourself, and you know that scientifically you're doing the right thing, because everything in moderation is the key. But sometimes you have to really listen to yourself. There are days, like I woke up this morning and I felt such enormous pains all over my body. I wasn't supposed to train anyway today because it's Sunday. But I know there's a high chance that tomorrow I'll still be in pain. And if that's going to be the case, I'm probably going to say to myself, I'm not going to exercise. Because I know that will have a detrimental impact on my recovery. I'm going to need longer sleep. And when that happens, I just feel more hungry. And it's the idea is to learn your body, to know what are your limits.
There's a psychological aspect to that as well. So what you're talking about is learn your body, so it's learn your limits, but it's also about the recharge. So the sleep is where your body's recharging, and the morning and the introvert-extrovert thing, all that is about recharging your mind and your emotions and the other parts of you that mind, body and spirit, I guess is what the terms that are often used. But to recharge those things, because it's so important to, because if you don't, they get injured. And it's easy to see the body, it's the simple one, because it's the physical thing, and you have it's easy to see when that's injured. It's not so easy to see when sometimes with the psychology and the emotions are damaged, but it can be just as detrimental.
Another really important thing when it comes to exercise, it helps with that anxiety control. It helps with the stress level. And if you give your best first thing in the morning, it helps you to manage the stress throughout the day much better. My morning routine made me realize to perhaps rethink my life's choices, and part of it is why we're here now.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you feel a bit recharged by what we've spoken about, and maybe even a bit inspired. If you'd like to hear more, then hopefully there's some more videos to watch after this one. There's certainly plenty before it that you could have a look at. But yeah, if you want to be aware of whether there's any new ones, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed of those.
And hit a like.
And
don't forget to hit a like.
Hit a like
we
if you
really
wanna.
need it.
Even better, leave a comment.